Hi people, and welcome back to the Just My Opinion podcast. Now we're going to move on to talk about artists being exploited in our entertainment industry. Now, why I thought about this topic was due to the fact that this media personality shared this post talking about Bad Angel. It's a series which we all saw on CrTV, and it was one of the series which really featured some of the names which we know in the English-speaking side of Cameroon, and so it was a really big deal. And so we also, when we saw this series being aired on CRTV, it also showed like, okay, this is some good in our entertainment industry and this is a good thing. So all of us were really championing Bad Angel. But now this post has been shared saying that a lot of the cast of this movie were not actually paid, but then CRTV bought this series, and one prominent name which came out to speak up about the lack of payment was Salatiel. We know that the theme song used in this series is a song composed by Salatiel. I was listening to the song the other day, but right now I cannot remember the title of the song. It's a really good song. Yeah, so Salatiel also commented saying he was not also paid for his job. Now, a lot of artists, a lot of models, a lot of video vixens, a lot of makeup artists, a lot of musicians are being asked to perform, are being asked to entertain, but then they are not being paid, sometimes even paid less than. So, Ambassador, what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, so as I said in an earlier discussion we had, where I said there are three levels to any business or any money-making venture, any value-creating venture. There is a first stage where you are focusing on the product, there's the next stage on distribution, then there is the final stage which is the most sustainable, which you are focusing on the supply chain. And we have been focusing on the product for a while. I feel like the product is almost there, if not already there. Because if we start with international collaborations like Salatiel and Beyonce, then we are almost there, or we are there. Yeah, so product-wise we are good. Now the issue is distribution-wise. We are very far from supply chain. When I start talking about the various structures coming into place, that's the supply chain we are looking at. But for now, distribution-wise, which is at the end of the supply chain, is we don't yet have those good distribution channels. I know, like recently I've been following a lot of talk shows with regards to what's her name, Megan Thee Stallion. She has this whole big buzz now regards to wanting to come out of her contract. But we have always had these things in America, and what most of the older names are saying is just always expect to have a bad deal for your first deal. Because one, you are too hungry for your first deal, so you cannot think straight. Most of the time you don't have the means to get like a proper lawyer who is on your side. So it is that manager who is giving you the contract, who is telling you to, who is sending the lawyer to come and look up the deal which he has given you for you. So you cannot expect that lawyer to have your back, but to have the manager's back. And we cannot expect you to have the money to even have a solid lawyer at the time. So they just said most of the time, out of experience, no matter how hard they talk or no matter what they tell you, your first deal is going to be a bad deal. Unless you are coming from a Jay-Z family or a Jackson's family or whatever. But even the Jacksons in the beginning, they were exploited. Till they made the solid money, then they could now, as Nigerians say, shine their eyes and then question things. But your first deal is going to be a bad deal. But it becomes a problem when you are getting to your fourth deal and it's still a bad deal.
Yeah.
That leads me to this whole thing where I always tell people, like, in Cameroon we have people who are professional upcoming artists. Where they are upcoming to, I don't know. Where they are upcoming from, I don't know. I feel like the artist committee should give a deadline to say, okay, if you start singing and putting official songs by this year, and by this year you are not a confirmed artist, then we kick you out of the art, we seize your artist card or something. Don't just be an upcoming, because there is that whole leniency we give to upcoming artists, which when you give an artist for too long, he does not learn to smarten up and then work with the structures in place. He does not learn to become professional, let me use that word. So I feel like for sure the businessman or the businessman is always going to try to take advantage. So if CRTV is buying your thing and you don't insist that there's this clause here or this that you need to pay us, this radio plays this thing, you don't learn to say, okay, you don't play my thing just because you are hungry for today and they give you 10,000 francs, you take it, and then later on now, when you have eaten the 10,000 francs and then now your brain starts to think, you say, why did they give me only 10,000? Why did you take only 10,000 francs? But I feel like it's that whole syndrome of people not learning to be professional and then people not growing in their art. So there is that first 2 to 5 years that we can be given as years of grace to grow. But when you are upcoming for 10 years, man, there is a problem. I mean, you are not I mean, even trees grow and then stop at a certain point. Where are you upcoming to?
Yeah, I get you. You're talking from the point of view of somebody who has had to be the person paying artists. You've had to work as the person financing the arts, right? I'm saying that's the point of view you're talking from. Yeah, yeah. So now, looking from the point of view of an artist, if you're an artist and you have your craft, and like you mentioned that we have gotten to the stage in the Cameroonian entertainment industry where the work of the artist is actually good enough, and we deserve an artist. Why am I saying we? Like, okay, an artist deserves to be paid as much as, well, good artists are being paid. What can you do once you get to a certain level? What can you do as an artist to make sure this kind of things don't happen? And as business people, if you're not giving enough money to an artist, then how do you, because for these artists to keep on going places, for these artists to keep on stepping up their game, they need the finances to be able to pump into their career. But if they are the ones who are taking money from their pocket, borrowing money from here and there to be able to finance their career, and then even when they are getting opportunities, they are not being paid for these opportunities to throw back into their career, how do we expect our artists to grow then?
So as I said, right, there is a government which can put some laws to check some of these things, because in the capitalist world you don't really expect the businessman to think about his profit and then think about your, I don't know how to put it, your growth. On the other end, as I was talking about not staying upcoming but growing to a professional artist, is in the direction of you knowing that, okay, by the time they gave me just 15,000, I feel like I deserve 100,000, but for now I'll take the 15,000. Use 5,000 and then save 10,000 francs so that the next time I can pay a lawyer to look up my contract to make sure I get the 100,000 I deserve. That's just a very basic example, but I feel like if you are growing, then in between 2 and 5 years you should be able now to command the respect and then get the value you feel you produce.